Megs, your guide on this exciting journey to mastering the art of eyebrows. Either you're a newbie or a seasoned pro, it doesn't matter. This podcast is your go-to resource for all things brows. I've gathered industry experts, insider tips, and inspiring success stories to help you enhance your skills, boost your confidence, and take your brow game to new heights. Welcome, you guys. Today's episode is with Emily of the Brow Fox, our sponsor, Brow Fox Beauty. I am so honored to have her on. She was actually one of the first people that I ever taught my hand-tied threading method to, which is so wild. We've been friends for a while, and she is absolutely a mentor and godsend. I am so grateful to know her, and I'm so stoked that she's here on the pod. I can't wait for you guys to hear it. We're going to dive in deep, so let's get into it. Welcome back to Broweducation. I am here with Emily today. I'm so excited to have you on, and let's just dive right in. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good. Excited about our episode.
Yes.
I know that my first or second time ever podcasting was with you for your podcast, Fox Talks.
Yes.
And that was, how long ago was that now?
Well, it was a long time ago because remember I got like lost in space and then I had to redo it.
That's right. We had to re-record.
Not only did we re-record, but then it took forever to actually get posted. So yeah, it was mid-burnout for me.
I feel like burnout. I feel like we always talk about burnout, and I just feel like I'm like at this point where I'm like, is it never ending? Does the burnout go away? And I feel like it's just one of those things that I don't know. It's such a aspect of balance and trying to figure out balance in our industry. And I think you being a mom on top of it makes the balance even harder because you have so many different hats that you're juggling and things like that. But I do think that it's really difficult to balance it all. And I think that's where we get our burnout a lot.
Yeah, it is really difficult. In fact, Sunday, I told you my training got canceled, so I was going to work on our stuff. And the day before, we had a pop-up at my shop, so I was feeling on the verge of burnout. And I was just like, you know what? I have Friday available. My mom's in town to watch the kids. I'm going to shift that to this because I really feel like I need time. And I just spent the whole day with my family and my chickens in my hot tub, hanging out, doing backyard hangs. And like, I didn't cook, I didn't clean, I didn't do laundry, I did not do anything. I just was like present and wasn't on social media. Like, it was the best, most rejuvenating thing. I'm so proud of myself for doing that because sometimes when I say, oh, I'm going to just not do that, I'll sit there and just like stress lax, where I'm just like, well, I should be doing this, but no, I guess I'll do laundry. Like,
that is such a good way. I've never heard stress lax. That's so perfect because that's exactly what happens. You're like, I'm going to lay here and watch the show. And then you're just sitting there like twiddling your thumbs. Like you said, just like, I have 600 things that I could be doing instead, or I should be enjoying this TV show, but also working on my computer while I do something. It's like, why do we have to multitask all the time?
No,
we can't just sit back and do nothing. And that includes, like you said, the housework. I think that that's a task. It's work at the end of the day. So I'm proud of you too. That's awesome. What are any new things that are coming out? I know I just got your brow serum. Do you want to talk about that at all?
Yeah, so that's going to come out. I actually wanted to launch that right after our event in April. Yay. I thought it would be so fun to do like a little mini launch dinner or something while you're in town. So I partnered with Madison. My friends use this. She makes a lot of my stuff because I just love how holistic that company is. And for me, it's really important that things are super clean and made locally, and I can kind of like see the process and stuff. So yeah, we've been working on that since over a year now because I got the original formulas. Actually, they're right here. How funny. Got these last February, and so we played with different consistencies, different scents, but so these are going to be named Full and Fluffy.
Yay. Oh my god, I love that little
and they'll be in a cute little box, so it'll look nice on our shelfies. And I don't know, I'm really stoked about them. I was thinking about maybe doing them in a smaller bottle just because we both sell a similar product that we love, the full brow serum. You know, it lasts forever. And so I feel like we don't have a lot of repeat buyers for that because it works so well. And you don't really need to like use it forever. It's not like you don't use it, you lose it kind of thing. So
Mhm.
I toyed around with that idea. But then at the end of the day, I just think, I don't know. What do you think? This is why I sent it out to a bunch of people for testers.
No, I agree. I feel like with the other one that we both carry, it's the same problem. I haven't really seen much return on that. But I will say, like you said, I think it's kind of just a common issue when you run into like oils and things like that just
Mm-hmm.
maintain and carry really well
Mm-hmm.
and don't evaporate easily or have
Yeah.
like, issue down the line. I think that I don't know, it's like the woe of having a really quality product that doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily need a bunch of return buys. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, I think there's a place for it on the shelf for, something that you don't necessarily like. It doesn't need to be in a smaller option. And if
Yeah.
anything, you could sell like maybe testers to the professional and we could make samples ourselves and give those
Mm-hmm.
out and have
Sure.
that like be
That's
an
a
option.
great
Or
idea.
whatever, we could do it if we
Yeah.
wanted to do two different price points. That's, kind of if they have a clientele for that or if they want to hand them out. I think that's always an option, but I feel like
Yeah,
most
that's a
clients,
great idea.
and I think if you use it really consistently or if there's someone who is getting chemical treatments done, they might use it more frequently. So
Mhm.
you never know. It's kind of nice to have something that if they want to like really like go heavy with using it, they can without worry of
Mhm.
it,
Yeah.
going super duper quickly.
Yeah.
Um, just for anybody who doesn't know, is my friends use this? Is that what it is?
Mhm.
Okay, they also do your other products, right, with Brow Fox Beauty?
Yeah, so they make my Tame and Tonic, which is like a skincare grade pre and post waxing solution. Um which goes into one of the questions you were going to ask me, which was what is the favorite ingredient I'm loving right now is
Yes.
hydrosols. So my
Okay.
tonic has hydrosols mixed with some witch hazel, and it's the watermelon and rose hydrosol. So
Okay.
the tonic
Love.
like really removes all the makeup, SPF, impurities, everything off the skin and flash hydrates. So that helps the wax remove the hair. So yeah, I love that company. She's amazing. I've been working with her for years. So
Yeah, I love those products. I got the first little glance at them when we were at the trade show last year. I got to kind of work with them. I took some home and used them in my space, and I will say that I think it's the Tame that smells like incredible. They don't. It's not
yeah,
the tonic doesn't smell good, but
yeah,
the Tame
the
smells so yummy.
yes, yeah. People either say they like the tame or the tonic, and I'm like, how?
Really,
The tonic is amazing. It smells like watermelon. How could that not be your favorite? But
right?
no,
So yummy.
yeah. So
And
now
they
you can get them separately. They used to come in like a duo. So yeah, I don't know why, because like shampoo, conditioner, you never go through the same amount, right? So
that's
they should have
really
always been
great.
separate. But yeah, anyways, now they're available separately.
That's awesome. I never even thought about that. Was there a reason that you originally put them together? That like was there like a reason that that gravitated towards like the duo first?
Well, just because first you cleanse the skin and then after you wax, you calm the skin. You tame. That's why I named it tame. You tame the
Hmm.
skin. So yeah, I just thought like, well, everyone's going to use step 1, step 2, right?
Yeah, I do. I think that that's something I've noticed more recently is that items are coming out individually and not. I think that before, especially with waxing and wax lines, they were all
Mm-hmm.
very. You get the 3-pack no matter if you
Yeah.
buy like I remember like buying a new wax pot or something and it came with like those 3 bottles, like the satin
Yeah. And
smooth,
you're like, what the hell? I
that
don't
had
need another bright green
yeah.
aloe vera. No, I don't need another one of those. Like, just give me the wax pot or the wax.
Exactly, and it was
Yeah.
default, like, no matter what, you always I remember
Yeah.
having that in surplus because it was just like, I don't use that much of this, but it always came with everything. So
Yeah.
I kinda like that because I feel like it's with skincare, we, um, kind of pick and choose what we love to use and, like, our
Mm-hmm.
favorites, and aren't necessarily married to one brand specifically, and it's fun that it's also tiptoeing into the brow world, where the brows aren't necessarily all one size fits all and are
Yeah.
kind of like, you can pick and choose what you really like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
that's awesome.
was
So
totally missing in the industry. Like what back it's Satin Smooth or whatever that company has like totally inspired this. I'm like, I don't want to put something bright blue to clean someone's skin. Like there's this clearly not good ingredients. Like we are estheticians. We need good ingredients to clean the skin And also, more importantly, after the wax or after the service, to calm the skin. We need skin care grade products. Like, so yeah,
Absolutely.
there's nothing like that that I've been able to get my hands on. So I was like, you know what? Let's make it together, Madison. So Madison's the owner of My Friends Use This. So we made it and love it.
Yeah. I think you're right though. That was one of my biggest issues. I mean, with being a threader, I don't use as much like pre and post product because I
Mm-hmm.
don't have to worry about like the wax not adhering or anything
Yeah.
like that. But I did find that I didn't carry any lines except for my lavender water for the
Mm-hmm.
longest time because there weren't quality. I just didn't like the gunk that was in a lot of those. That it was like just to remove the wax, like it was like a heavy oil or something like
Yeah.
that, or it
Almond
just had
oil,
really
no
icky
thanks.
ingredients.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I
Yeah.
love that. I feel like that's a big part of your brand, Brow Fox Beauty, in particular, is a lot of. I feel like we're very similar in the sense that we see a missing hole in the industry and we want
Mm-hmm.
to fill it and help plug that space that we were looking for and couldn't find.
Yeah.
Um, and that's how the fiber brow gel, my favorite of your product, came to play. Right, that was something that you saw was missing.
Well, it wasn't missing. Originally, there's a company called Brow Food. They had a really great tinted brow gel. And then they discontinued that in, I think, 2019. And so I just was searching for something similar. And yeah, so that was something that I added into the line. But it was really originally like the heart of what I wanted in the line. Actually, if we're going to go to the heart of my line, the heart of my line was a non-polymer wax, something that was not plastic, something that was not colored, a very, very clean wax to put on the skin. So
Okay.
that was the origination of it. Yeah.
Okay, so that was kind of like the baby of Brow Fox Beauty. What happened with the wax?
Well, I've had so many, so many, so many different versions of it made. It's really hard to get a clean wax. It's just really hard. There's,
Yeah.
it's nearly impossible. And I have like scars on my arm from
Oh
trying
no.
so many different types. But there is a company now that what I'm blanking on their name. I feel like it's like honeycomb or like honeybee or something like that.
Oh, I think what you're
Um,
talking about. We'll find it and put it in the show notes.
yeah. Um, Yeah, and so I'm stoked. Now there is something like that in the industry. So that's what I like strictly use before, like when I was doing full body waxing and stuff, it was all non-polymer just because you use so much of it. I just felt so guilty, like, hey, we can't use plastic straws anymore, but we can use like a full body of like wax that we're just gonna throw in the
You're
trash
so
can and
right.
never will break down. So yeah, it was really important to me to use like a compostable natural
Yeah,
wax.
you were the
So
first one that made me want to start using the bamboo. I use a lot of the bamboo disposables now instead of the
mm-hmm,
traditional plastics. I never thought about it, and then I remember
mm-hmm.
hearing you talk about it, and I was like, that makes so much sense. I always felt good because being a threader, I wasn't using as much wax waste,
Mhm.
but there's
Yeah.
still tons of other ways that we get kind of trapped in using. So any little bit helps.
Yeah. So I don't feel as bad now that I'm just doing brow waxes here and there. I actually use Wax Bear, the Gold Swiss. That's like my go-to. I absolutely am so obsessed with it. And I know Vanessa personally, and I know her practices that she uses, and I've had long conversations about the ethics behind it and how she sources it. And so that's what I use now. The honeycomb, I do like that wax. I just doesn't, it's not as grippy for me. If I was doing full body wax, I would totally use it, but I'm not doing body wax anymore, so I don't need that.
Yeah, it's hard to not want to sacrifice your process, just for
Mm-hmm.
that. But
Yeah.
I also use Wax Bear. I have the lilac. I love it.
Oh yeah.
Is that one the one that you use, the gold one, is that also hard wax?
Yeah.
Do
That's
you
hard
use any
wax.
soft wax in your brow bar at all? Or are you just
No.
hard wax?
Just hard
Okay,
wax
same.
because yeah, just I used to use soft wax when I was starting out, and then I switched because long story short, but I was helping out someone on maternity leave and she only used hard wax. And so I wanted to do the same for her client. So I had to use both. And so when I got hooked on that, I was like, oh, there's no going back. And just with my style, with like the more kind of bushy, kind of like full and fluffy look, I don't really love the harsh line of demarcation above the brow. So, yeah, and so I like to use hard wax because it doesn't pull 100% of those vellus hairs. So, there's a time and place for all of those to be removed, and there's plenty of people in my town that I can refer them to if they want that like really harsh, like full, like what I'm saying here, like a
Yeah.
yeah. My style
Yeah.
is just not like that. I just like a little extra, very, very natural, still a good shape, but just almost like a French kind of style, I would say. I don't know.
Oh, I like that. I
Yeah.
always call it
Yeah.
like almost like the model brow, where they don't really
Yes.
quite remove everything, but like you can tell
Yes.
that they're still polished and done. They're just a
Mm-hmm.
little undone, which
Yeah.
I feel like I think the other benefit is that they can go a little bit longer. Like they don't necessarily feel
Mm-hmm.
like I feel like with the where you're really removing everything, you notice every new hair growth
Mm-hmm.
very much so
Yeah.
anything outside of the shape. So I like that though because I feel like for the longest time brows weren't something you could well, I mean you could niche down to brows, but then I feel like
Mm-hmm.
even now we've niched further and I'm just now really
Mm-hmm.
realizing that even
Mm-hmm.
each individual brow artist is very niched and I
Yeah.
love to hear that because I feel like that like you said is very true to your style, which I feel like is almost like carving out your own little niche.
Yeah.
Um
I mean,
how do
don't
you
get me wrong,
feel
you can remove like a lot of the vellus hairs like right in the center and the top. Like I can get the gold Swiss like a really thin kind of fat line and it will remove more and then I'll just be like more gentle underneath. So you can make it work if you have a client that's like wanting that. So, yeah.
well and you also know how to thread, so you could always thread those little guys if you needed
Yes.
to.
I know I need a refresher on that, but
Yes, we'll cover that
yeah.
when I come see you.
Yes.
I'm excited.
Me too.
How do you think that your kind of fluffy style that you were just saying relates to? Are you still microblading or
I
doing
am.
permanent cosmetics? Do
I
you
am.
kind of feel that that's your style for that as well?
Yes, that's always been my style, like very natural from that. I don't microblade near as much anymore because I mean, the pandemic like wrecked that for me. Like I said, I was a body waxer and I sold like bikini bundles and stuff. So during the pandemic, I really had to focus on redeeming all of my clients that had prepaid for that. So it took a couple months for me to like get through that. I had microblading deposits that were prepaid. So I had to microblade them. And then I had my yearly touch ups. So I got a really impacted schedule for 2.5 years. So for 2.5 years, I could not take any new microblading clients. And people were really wanting that service because they were at home
Yeah.
and like they were really wanting that. And I had to say, no, no, no. And so then it was like just my existing clients. And I just now in October, like opened it up for new clients. But then I decided not to take any new clients and just kind of phase out that service because I have my apprentice that was helping me during that time. She's so motivated and she's so great. I'm like, you guys should go see her. She has that light in her. She's taken so many more classes. I haven't been able to take a class in, the last 3 years. So like I'm just
Yeah.
phasing that out. But yeah, that was definitely my style for that.
That's awesome. I feel you because I had done a little bit of, I dabbled in permanent cosmetics for a small bit, and then the pandemic totally quashed that as well. It's so crazy to think being inundated with, I never had any like deposits or anything like that, but that's crazy. That's a lot. And I feel like we don't normally see that much impaction, I think, on our side. Like I think with like stylists and things like that, their appointments are a lot longer so they can get kind of
Mm.
locked into that schedule. But
Yep.
that's wild that you were feeling that or that you were stuck with that kind of. And I
Oh, it
do
was
know what you
insane.
mean by, yeah, and so much changes even in 6 months in that world. In any level of niche in our industry, I feel like there's so many different things that changes. Like if you're not keeping up with your education, like you said, you
Yeah.
feel so behind trying to
Yeah.
get back into it. It's hard to
Yeah.
have that motivation.
Yeah. And I would just much rather put my time and energy into Brow Fox Beauty, um, and the platform I'm building out with that than spend time nurturing those microblading clients because that's just not where my heart and soul is right now. So I'm not going to put a permanent something on their face when I'm not wholeheartedly into it. Right.
No, you're so right. That's such a good point.
Yeah.
And like you said, you had already had that established Oh my gosh, completely blanking. Who was working under you?
My apprentice. Yeah.
Your apprentice. Oh my
Yeah.
god, I was like, what word am I thinking of? Yeah, you already had that established, so why not help, build her up, since that's
Yeah.
what she was really truly focused on. I love that.
Yeah.
Do you have any other plans or changes aside from the serum that's coming for Brow Fox Beauty?
I am currently building out a platform called circle.so. And so basically it's a community. So when you become a Brow Fox Beauty retailer, you get access to this platform and it has a bunch of basic biz stuff and it has resources, it has Brow Fox Beauty announcements, it has a whole product knowledge folder. So you can get videos on like how to sell the products better. It has like a brow or the Brow Fox Beauty like Bible of all the ingredients and who's the ideal client. So I'm really excited about that and making it more of like a club for my retailers. And it will be available for people that maybe don't retail it yet. They can kind of have like a little sneak peek access of just like 3 little areas that are free to them,
Okay.
or even like a paid part. So yeah, I'm just working on just streamlining that versus right now I'm just like throwing everything on Instagram. I'm like, whoever can catch this information, grab it, you know?
Yes. No, that's incredible. I've heard of that space before and it's really fun. I'm so
Yeah.
excited for that next step of Brow Fox Beauty. I love your products. So
Mm.
any way to build the community too, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Um, Now I did want to get a little bit into the salon suites because as
Yeah.
you know, I'm a solo artist. So
Hmm.
I would technically be one of the people renting from you if I
Yeah.
were, there.
Yeah.
So how is it running? And I just want to hear a little bit about it from you.
Yeah. Just running the salon suites in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know what? It's the easiest thing like in the world. I absolutely love having my own space that I could curate the kind of like vibe and style in there. Um, I wouldn't say I'm a control freak, but I like having the control of that creative freedom. Like, I love that for me. And I love that,
Yeah.
if there's an issue, I can handle it. I don't have to like text an owner to be like, hey, can I, like, this is happening. Like, I just go in there and handle it.
Yeah.
Um, it's just easy. I would, I am going to say the word income. It's easy income. It's not a lot of income. The best thing about having the salon suites is that I can take time off and be there for my kids when I need, and I don't have to worry about like a huge overhead, right? Um,
Yeah.
and like for my maternity leave and when I was building out my salon suites course, like I could step away and not have to worry about like, oh, I need to like rent out my space, a sublet, or just like I didn't have to worry about that. I was like, my room's going to be there for me when I'm ready,
Yeah.
and if I have to rebuild my clientele a little bit, I'll focus on that when I have to. Like it was just there for me when I needed it. And it's just truly the best, like most life-changing thing. I go in there and I water the plants on Mondays and I make sure like the toilet paper's stocked and like the tea bar's stocked and like then that's it. Because I
I
have
love that because I
cleaners,
think
like everything's automated.
it sounds like a sense of security that we don't really
Oh
get.
yeah.
I think in the beauty world, I think that's kind of what it sounds like, especially like with maternity, because I think that that's something that
Hmm.
weighs heavy on our minds when we think about
Yeah.
like long stretches. Like you said, like do I
Yeah.
have to sublet? Do I have to like lose it? Where would I store
Hmm.
all my stuff? Like what? Like there's so
Exactly.
many different questions that come to mind, and that's a great way to like know you have space and a place. Um, Especially with the fact that I feel like before COVID we didn't have these thoughts as heavily. I think maybe like
Hmm.
maternity leave, of course, but I think before COVID, I don't think we were all worried about like these long stretches of like, what am I going to do? And now
Hmm.
I think, at least for myself, I'm way more like doomsday prepper. Like, I want to know that I have like a backup and like situations handled. And I
Yeah.
think that that's a really cool way to not only have that sense of security, but then allow yourself when you need to grow or do pivot, like you said
Hmm.
with building out your course. Like me personally having my brick and mortar, that's my income for my business. So anytime that I want to build out a course, it's just hugged around that. Like I can't really like step away and still have
Yeah.
that income or any source of income. If I were to take a week off to build out, that's it. And then I
Yeah.
have to find a place for those clients and I have to, it's a lot more. So
Hmm.
that's really awesome. I think it's allowing you to do more growth and put more time in places that you really love.
Absolutely. Like I don't think I would have Brow Fox Beauty anymore if it wasn't had I converted my salon into a salon suite. So it would really allowed me to give energy to the product line. And then also it helped me like build content for my product line because I had my suite, you know. It was a way of
Yeah,
allowing me to like do it all kind of, which is
yeah.
I know doing it all is not healthy. And like I know I'm like working on like streamlining and focusing, but for me it was able to like just keep my space and work on something new was like really helpful for me mentally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I I totally feel like that translates too. And I mean, ugh, your photo shoots are always amazing. Speaking of, do you have any tips for maybe like 3 tips for anybody wanting to plan a photo shoot? Yours always come
Use
out
your
so perfect.
time like wisely. Use your time wisely. Type it out. If you get on Pinterest, like grab some inspo pictures and then type out your agenda. Like I want a shot like this. I want a shot like this. I want a shot like this. And then literally print it out, tape it on the wall when the photographer's there so she can quickly glance. Because anytime someone has to pull out their phone to look at the Pinterest board or look at something, there's a distraction. There's an email, there's a text, there's something, and you're not using your time. If you can just have it taped on the wall so they can glance at it quickly and get right back to business. And I always try to get as much as possible. So I have content for days. Because I have my 3 businesses, right? I have my services and then I have the sweet spot and then I have Brow Fox Beauty. So I really try to utilize everything all at that one photo shoot. I don't have separate sweet spot photo shoots and then, oh, we're going to do Brow Fox Beauty. You know, Kate, like I will do another separate Brow Fox Beauty photo shoot for Full and Fluffy serum launch. But yeah, just being organized with your time. Grab an extra shirt, like make sure you have an outfit change, you know, so you can double up on the content.
I love that because I
Yeah.
do think that you are paying essentially for time, like with the photographer. So the
Mm-hmm.
more you can streamline that they don't have to, you do get to
Mm-hmm.
just utilize all the time.
Yeah.
Um, I love that. Your photos literally always turn out so cute. I'm
I love them,
obsessed.
but quite honestly, like I get so overwhelmed when I get the photos back because I'm like, now what? What do I do now? Because I there's so much. Like I have tons of photos from last October that I still haven't used. But I mean, I can use
Yeah,
them on pin. Like if you go to my Pinterest, like every day there is like a new random photo on Pinterest, just like links to Brow Fox Beauty. Like there's so much.
which is
Um,
great for having an online business like Brow Fox Beauty when
mm-hmm,
you're just trying to attract like
mm-hmm,
customers. I think that's really
yeah,
incredible. I think that's the crazy difference too. I mean, you're pivoting. Like even though you are truly a brow artist at heart, having a product line is a whole different ballgame and a completely different hat. Even more so
yeah,
than a hat, I feel like.
yeah, yeah. It's a
Yeah.
lot.
So how
It's a com-
are you feeling like do you ever wish that you are just behind the chair or do you really love like building out Brow Fox Beauty? Like what if you were to go
oh
back and
my
do it all over
god.
again, would you still take the same path?
Oh my god. Are we gonna cry right now? No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
So every week when I have the day that works on my clients, I just have like this look in my face, and my husband goes like, "Are you okay? Like, is it the clients? Like, are you gonna be okay?" And I'm like, "No, the clients. The schedules are easy. Like, I know that on Mondays and Thursdays I am there, and I know my every 20 minutes or an hour. Like I have Jane, I have like I know my schedule. I know when I have to pee. I know when I have to eat. Like it's like a chronological to-do list laid out for me, and I can do it. It's easy. Boom. I'm not thinking
Mhm.
about anything. I'm not touching my phone. I'm just like socializing and making pretty brows and getting money and going. Like it is a dream. It's a dream, and it's easy. Now, when I have like my days off or my office days, when I'm like, okay, I need to work on Brow Fox Beauty, I just sit at my computer and I'm like, what do I do again? Like, what is this? Like, what? Okay, okay, focus. And I like trying to get on online and like, I don't even know. So it is completely different. And I think because the way my ADHD brain works, it's like a scramble when I have my, oh, I can do anything I want versus when I'm like in the treatment room. I know I get up, I get dressed, I look pretty, I talk to my clients. It's just like boom, 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 done. So now which one weighs on me more? Like when I have my office days, I'm just like, wow, I really suck. Like, I don't think I should be doing this. Am I qualified? Like, it's a lot of negative self talk. So that's hard mentally. When I'm in the treatment room and I'm talking all day and socializing, that's hard on me mentally because they drop some stuff on us, our clients do. Or maybe we get a text message that someone wasn't really happy with their brows. Or, this it's just a lot. Either one is a lot. So
Hey, it's Emily here from Brow Fox Beauty. I'm so proud to be sponsoring this episode of Brow Education. If you are new here, let me tell you a little bit about Brow Fox Beauty. We are a professional brow line for the esthetician. We specialize in easy retail for the busy esthetician. We also have a line of better back bar basics so you can be super confident putting pre and post wax solution and massage oil onto your client's skin, giving them the best glow and the best brows yet. You can find more information at browfoxbeauty.com or on social media at browfoxbeauty.
it's just two different hats. And you just really have to figure out how to have the skill set for both and what you want to do. It was so hard on me, Megs, when I went from like, okay, my Brow Fox account is trying to get brow clients. Like that was easy. You post your pretty brows, you post yourself, you post your salon. Hello, community. We live in a small, cute town. Like, hi, and then now it's like, whoa, I'm like marketing towards beauty professionals that like it was very intimidating and it was really such a like my mind was blown like, okay, wow, I'm really starting over from scratch. This is like a whole new business, a whole new undertaking. So yeah, I don't even remember what the question was at this point. I'm just like kind of rambling. Thanks for the therapy
No,
session.
you're totally right. I feel like I'm listening to it all and digesting it all, and I'm just like, yep, yep. That's exactly how I felt going into. I think the biggest thing is that our brow business, the reason we feel comfortable in wanting to do more and how we end up in the position to do more is that we've dialed in the brows. So going into the studio, the meeting with the clients, that we've built the clientele, we've done all of that. And I think, like you said, it's easy. Maybe it weighs on us a little bit just because we want everything to be perfect. We want to do a really good job. We love our clients and we want them to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they do, we do get dumped on a little bit, like not saying anything negatively, of course, but like there's
Mm-hmm.
that emotion there, and that trust
Mm-hmm.
building that we've done
Yeah.
allows them to feel very comfortable. And so I think that we empathetically take on a little bit there. But I do
Yeah.
feel like it's one of those things, like you said, it's like a to-do list and we know exactly how the day is going to go, unless there's maybe a
Mm-hmm.
new client or something like that. Most of the time we know
Mm-hmm.
exactly how the day is going to go.
Yeah.
And I feel the exact same way anytime I sit at home doing any admin work or trying to build out the maybe educational side of the podcast side or whatever. I'm just like, what am I doing here? I am the biggest fraud. I'm an imposter. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what the heck am I doing? I need to be back in that studio behind the chair doing eyebrows. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how I got here. And
Yeah.
I think that it's just like, it's funny because I feel like if I were able to somehow put myself back in my just got licensed shoes, I would probably feel the exact same way about building a business and in the brow business, but I think we're so far removed from it that I'm like, no, that's easy. That's my,
Yeah.
my bread and butter. That's my little baby. That's
Yep.
the easiest thing on my plate at the moment. And it's funny to be in another position because I think that originally, at least for myself, when I was going into aesthetics and I was building when I made the decision to go on out on my own, I'm like, this is it. I just want to build this business. All I want is for this to be successful. And then you zoom out however many years later, and I'm like, oh wait, no, there's like a million other things going on. That's the least of my concerns.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's those things that you never really go into expecting anything other than it for to do well. Like that's really the only goal. And it's weird being, yes, that goal has been checked off, but now there's a billion other ones that have also been
Yeah.
added to the list.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's nice. Do you ever see yourself 100% stepping away from the chair?
I was away from the chair from when I had Henry. I always say this, it's a total lie, but I was away from the chair for like when I had Henry in March until when I went back in like October. Now, I had my recurring clients that were like friends and family, which they weren't even friends and family. I'm lying again. They were just like my OGs that I saw every 4 weeks for like my whole
They
entire life,
feel like
So now they're friends and
yeah.
family. Yeah.
Yes,
So there was a
absolutely.
couple that I would sneak in even during all of that. Like I had my treatment room, no one was in it.
You had your
That
space
was,
still, exactly.
I had my space still. So yeah, I saw them, but my online booking was not open for that whole entire time until October. And actually, I think I went on leave with Henry in December because I had a really bad ear infection. So from December to October, for 10 months, it was completely closed for anyone to book online. And it was fantastic. It was fantastic. Honestly, it was
I love
so
that.
good because I think because I still went in for those few clients here and there and I was able to like, oh, this is so pretty.
Yeah, scratch that itch a little.
Yes, exactly. So it honestly, like I said, when I go in there, it's my heart, my soul, my energy. Like I give it all to my clients after work. Like I can't really do much after my clients. I'm like, I gave it all to my clients.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, which is why I
Like
learned that I don't schedule anything. I don't plan on coming home and working on Brow Fox Beauty. I don't plan on going and shipping out orders after I do clients. When I do clients, and that's it.
that's incredible. That's a really good boundary. Still working on
Mhm.
that one.
Yeah.
But do you think that having that break and experiencing that stretch of time and how nice it was, do you see yourself ever 100% parting with your treatment room and not having
Yeah.
any clients and having them
There's
all?
no way. I literally don't think I could do it. I think I would close my online booking site and just keep my handful of my favorites. But I don't think I would ever 100% like be 100% done. I think I would be 90% done.
It's so funny. That's exactly how I feel, and I feel like the more the more people I talk to, I feel like it's like our little heart. I don't think I could ever
Mhm.
rip my heart out. I don't think I
Yeah.
could ever not see them. And I think even we're both in the educational realm, and I think even training, and you've trained, tons of people
Yeah.
before too. And I think no matter what it's not that you don't trust them going elsewhere. It's just that you don't want them to. Like I want to be with the people that have trusted me from day one, and
Mhm.
I don't know, you build up that relationship and I
Mhm.
agree with you. I don't ever see myself
Yeah.
parting with it.
I mean, really, when you see the same client every 4 weeks for the last 8.5 years, like that is more than I see my sister. Like that is more than
Oh
I see
my
my
god,
family. So
seriously. No, you're
I get
right.
an uninterrupted 20 minutes one-on-one conversation, an intimate conversation with the same person every month for 8 years. Yeah, that relationship is close. Like so close.
Exactly.
I
I
wouldn't
think
give
it's
that up
funny
for
because
anything.
I 100% agree. I think that a lot of people, especially like obviously outside of the brow world, are like, how do you build with somebody when you're only seeing them for that short period of time? And I'm like, I don't know, I just feel like we get a short download. Like
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
it doesn't feel like 15, 20 minutes in the moment. I feel like
Yeah.
we get and we see, like you said, so frequently that maybe that's the difference, is maybe it's not as long, but it is more frequent. So we're just able
Mm-hmm.
to like stay really updated. And I just feel like I'm regardless able to still learn everything about my clients and really get to know them on a really deep level, regardless of
Yeah.
that short appointment time.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you could go back to brand new SD Emily, what would be a piece of advice that you would give?
That's a great question. I think I would take better notes.
That's a really good answer, though, because as I look at my notes for the show, and I'm a note queen, I'm like notes up everything now. You're right. It would be so satisfying to go back and look at those notes from
Oh my
then
God.
too.
Yes, I've had the same booking site my entire career, and you would think I would have like amazing notes about my clients and their kids' names and what color formula I'm using and like their very first picture because it has a file. You can just open up that add file, take a picture and be done. No. My phone's a complete mess with hundreds of humans' eyebrows all over it from years and years and years. Like I wish I would just be organized from the beginning. Take better notes, be organized.
When you only had those handful of people, when it would have been way more manageable to get into that routine of doing it. Now I'm like, I think about it and I'm like, oh my god, it would be such
Yeah.
an undertaking at this point. But you're right, if we would have started that right off the bat, I would have been
Mm-hmm.
so satisfying to have that. Even any like the educator brain in me is like, oh my God, it would be so cool to go back and see those notes, view those notes, and like be able to answer questions that I had basically like, you know, writing to myself, like answering things to myself. Because I think now, looking back at trying to look back at being a newbie and like coming up with content or education, it's so hard. I end up just asking questions. I'm like, okay, those of you who are in school right now or just graduated, like, what do you need to know? What do you have questions about? Because it's so hard to put yourself in those shoes.
Yeah, so now with my brow bar, I have employees, and so that's just part of the checklist when they are going over the person's consent forms. When it is in there, they have to take a before picture, and it's right through Square, add file, take picture, and that's because you know if there's ever an issue, I can just hop on Square and look at it. So, and then vice versa, like I don't want to have to always take that one client, and Amber always take that one client, Sienna always take that one client. Like, I just want the person to book at a time and a place that works for them. And so if she wants to do that, this person's brows, they can hop on and see what they're working with, basically.
Progress. Do you guys have it separated like that? Can the client go on and request a certain person, or is it just open booking?
So they can. And I'm really thinking about just changing it, which this is like everything. This is the opposite of all the solo Esties that we talk to, right? Because the brow bar is like essentially kind of like a benefit brow bar. You know, you just go and you get whoever, right? So the idea is that they're all trained the full and fluffy way. It's the same technique, same consultation steps. So the client, in theory, should be happy with what they get because they're getting this technique, not just her technique and her technique and her technique, right? So
yeah, it's your technique.
Yeah, it's my technique. Yeah.
I love that because it's funny, actually, the fact that you have now come to that place. And when I first started, I was actually at a boutique, like, I guess benefit, but if we want to use that as kind of like a example, we were the threading version of the benefit bar. So it was all stock. We all did our, you know, we all had little stations that were all together, and we all did basically the same thing. We all threaded and had the wax there available as well. But it's funny that like I started there and have gravitated far from it. But I do think that we create, I think that what separates those two styles versus a benefit bar is that even though they are in theory similar, it's so much more personal and from a true esthetician, beauty professional standpoint versus just a company trying to make money. And I think that's what sets it apart. And even though I think it's just another way to have that convenience factor be available for clients the same way benefit is. It's really cool for them to still get what a solo one-on-one relationship would be like with the convenience of benefit, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think that's what really separates the two. Okay, what are three products, three things self-care-esque that you cannot live without?
Okay, right now I am doing the Is Clinical Active Peel. They're like these little peel pads. And God, they make my skin feel so good because I'm not going to lie, with my 3 kids and the baby right now, there's some nights I am sleeping in my makeup because I'm just like passed out asleep at this time. And so the peel pads are like such a good skin refresh. It's like comes in a 15 pack. You do it every other day and like your skin is totally refreshed. That I love the Tower 28 SOS spray. It's so simple ingredients. Feels so good. I'm always spraying that on my face. And then the vitamin C exponent serum. It's like, I feel like I got Botox. My skin is so firm. Like, I don't know if it does. I don't know if it's truly like that brightening, but damn, is it firming? And I need that because I have some. Yeah.
Don't we all?
Yeah. So sad I didn't name a brow product, but I am aging and that is what I'm living with right now.
No, I think that's real. I think that a lot of the times we want to like, I guess, influence in our way, and we're like, I'm a brow artist, I should only recommend brow products. But it's like, I feel like you find your staples for your brow world, and then I might play around with skincare adding
Yeah.
and, subtracting a little bit more so than I really do with my brow. My brow routine is pretty set. So
Yeah. Wait, is
I
that
like
what you meant? Like, I'm over here naming skincare routines, or were you talking about like what I'm using in the treatment room?
no, that's what I meant. Like
Okay.
something that you
Okay.
wanted, like that you use personally. Because I
Okay.
feel like if anybody wants to hear what you're using in the treatment room or like with clients, like they can follow you on Instagram and like you're already
Yeah.
talking about stuff that you love. But I want to hear
Yeah.
like what you're actually using.
Yeah.
And I think I've actually used those pad the is clinical.
Is clinical. They're
Um
so good.
yeah, I remember liking them. I know I think we all say this a lot, but as being a beauty professional, I'm the worst at getting treatments done. So anything that can
Hmm.
give that little resurfacing from home is very nice to have on hand.
Yes.
I always have like a little 15% Mandelic for when I'm like, I need a little pick me up. It's
Yes.
a little bit
Yeah.
stronger than the normal exfoliation.
Yeah.
If you had to pick one word for 2024 for your business, what would it be?
Open.
Ooh,
So
okay.
the reason I'm able to answer that so fast is because this summer I booked the creators retreat right after the trade show that you and I did together. I went up to Southern Oregon to meet with Tanya from Just the Strip. She has been like such a wonderful person in my life since I met her on fairwholesale.com in 2020.
Ooh,
I
I
found,
didn't know that. I love that.
yeah, I found her brand and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. It was kind of something that I had envisioned my brand with the wax being like a full kind of waxing aftercare and not just brows. And I was like, oh, I got to talk to her. And so we've just been sending voice notes to each other. She's so wonderful. I don't have enough good things to say about her. But when I went up to the creators retreat, we did some really good soul searching with our businesses and mentoring and just, I mean, soul searching is the best thing I way to describe it. And that was the word I ended up picking during this exercise that we did because felt like I was in this place where I could just choose any road to go down and I wasn't sure what was going to come my way and I wasn't sure what I wanted to focus on. So I really just wanted to have an open mindset for considering um, what comes next. And so, from having my open word, I was very open to having employees again. And I opened up the
Oh,
brow bar shortly after that retreat. Um, and like I mentioned earlier, when I had, during the pandemic, I was shut down for 7 months and then we reopened. And then I was like redeeming all these bikini bundles working for free, right? Because they were already prepaid 7 months ago. It was really, really hard for me to ever feel like I could have employees again because I took on such a huge undertaking. They didn't stay with me, and I couldn't afford to hire them after we could reopen again.
yeah.
It was just like this really traumatic thing that happened. And I didn't feel like I could give anything to my employees. And I don't know if it was because I was scared to trust or if I just felt like I didn't have the mental capacity. But I began to become open to that idea again. And it's been the best thing ever. It's been an extra really good stream of income, and it's been a really good way for me to like dive back into my local community again. Because for a long time, it was just like, these internet people that, yeah, which honestly, like, became some of my really great friends. But there is something about like that local community, like that part in my heart, like being filled again.
And I
Yeah.
think that the other thing that's different with the local community aspect is that I think, as much as I agree with you, the internet and all of that, I 100% see it. But there's something about being in person and really
Hmm.
feeling the energy and like the vibration of it all.
Yeah.
And I think that's so beautiful that not only were you open to like coming back to having employees, but also coming back to your community. Like it was almost like
Yeah.
it all just snowballed in like one big hug, I guess you could say, like
Yes.
just bringing you back to yourself. And I do feel like it's just like an element of like, I don't know, like reigniting that passion. And I think that in my at least in my experience of being in this world and the beauty world, owning a business, all of it is constantly looking for whatever can reignite our passion and make
Yeah.
us feel at home, in a
Yeah.
sense to it all. And I think that the online world makes it really easy for us to get detached. And I think that it's so important to almost just stay grounded in like your community
Yeah.
and your local creators. And I feel like there's only so much support an online friend can have, whereas that in like the local community, they get your space, they get the place that you love, like they equally love it with you. And like, I don't know, I just feel like there's that extra little bit to it. So I completely understand what you mean. I love that so
Yeah.
much.
And so this is a big part why I'm opening up that community on Circle, because on social media you can have your friends, it's great, but for me social media is social and I can put stuff out there and I can get a flood of DMs, but it's really easy to be like, there's too many, like I'm not going to go through it, right? Where if I have this community that's on Circle, like I'm obligated to those people. I don't know if obligated is the right word because that seems negative, but like I am open to those people. I'm going to give my heart and soul to those people, just like I do my clients in my treatment room. This Circle is going to be like my treatment room of estheticians that I'm
I
training
love
and
that.
teaching and loving and going to be there for and trusting and mentoring. And so, yeah, I think it'll be a really good thing to open up this year. So yeah, that
Yeah,
even though that retreat was in 2023,
yeah.
that's still my 2024 year. Word.
No, I love that. No, and I think that it applies. And sometimes, I don't know, sometimes it takes like a few months to really think about what you want that year to look like. So the fact that it happened last year maybe just gave you enough time to digest what you really envisioned for this year.
Yeah.
Um,
And I would
I love,
really like, it's just I want to give full credit to the creators retreat for helping me do that, because I was with you a week or two before that and I was like a hot mess. Like I wasn't sure what was going to happen. I wasn't, it was so much fun, that our conference that we did together, but that was so much helpful to gain clarity. So if anyone is listening and is feeling like stuck or you don't know what's next, like that was a really good thing that I did for myself and my business. And I would recommend it 100%.
yeah, I can attach the information to the show notes too, if anybody is interested, because I remember seeing that and I was like, that looks incredible. I hope that
Yeah.
we get more, not to discredit it at all, but I hope that there's more and more experiences that are more like designed like that instead of just the
Yeah.
educational side. I like the
Yes.
idea of more mindset and growth
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
connectivity and community and
Yeah.
things like that. Because I think it's an important portion of
Totally.
growing as a human and who
Mm-hmm.
happens to also be an entrepreneur or small business or,
Yeah.
not even just the beauty world. I
Yeah.
love
Because
that.
there's coaches and like that's cool and everything, but like I needed like a dive deep into my soul kind of situation,
Yeah.
not just like a Zoom help me. No, it was like a full undertaking.
I think there's something to be said about getting out of your comfort zone too. I think like you said,
Oh
like the
yeah.
Zoom coaching, like you're at home still, you're not really out of your element. Whereas like you went to like, another state and you like went with all these women and you were completely out of your, quote unquote
Mm-hmm.
comfort zone.
I
And
was
I think that
completely out of my comfort zone.
yeah. Yeah. So I think that like really makes a huge difference too. Like like you said, getting deep with it. I think that removing yourself a little bit almost makes you more vulnerable and more open to that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I know we spoke a little bit about it earlier, but your favorite ingredient that you're loving right now, I just wanted to dive in a little bit deeper with that.
Hydrosols. Like
Yeah.
I'm into
So
them.
can we break it down just a little bit more?
I
What is a
really
hydrosol?
I really don't have like the full scientific knowledge on that, but with working with Madison, my friends use this. Like we don't use water in products. We use either
Okay.
hydrosols or something. So it just gives it that extra hydration. And I
Okay.
really don't know how to explain it.
No, I like that. I think it not being like a watered down product isn't important because I mean anything that
Yeah.
you look at, water is the first ingredient a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So I
Well,
think
I
you guys.
try to get waterless anything, like this product here, this like Sorella, the grapefruit polishing powder. Like I'm so into any powders. My my Exponent Beauty serum. It's a powder that you mix with the hyaluronic acid, right? So a hydrosol is similar. So like we mix ingredients with the hydrosols. And my other favorite exfoliator is like the Dermalogica Daily Microfoliant, like waterless. My balm, this one, the bikini balm. So this is like a hardened form of the waxing spray aftercare, the Tame. This is just a hard version of it.
Okay.
So I had this first for years, and so I wanted something that you could use in the treatment room after bikini wax. You could just spray right onto the skin, but it's also, skincare grade, so it's great for after brows. So yeah, waterless products.
I love that because I think that nowadays we see a lot of filler ingredients and just like, I don't know, less of the good stuff and more of just like not so good stuff. So I love that. I think that's another thing that sets you apart as so obviously an esthetician created this, or like, there was more thought that went into the product rather than just like, cost and trying to be cost effective. Is there anything else that you wanted to kind of chat about? I feel like we covered a lot this episode.
We covered so much, and I love that we did that. We got kind of deep there. I almost cried a little bit.
I know. I was like, oh my god, I literally love that so much. That was, your answers were incredible. I was like, this is incredible. I love hearing. I know that we've known each other for a while and everything, but I love hearing your side of it, your story, and a little bit more deep, and personal with your journey and everything that you've done in the last few years and grown and everything like that.
Yeah. I guess the last thing we should talk about is like our upcoming training that we have coming in April. So that's like right around the corner. I'm really excited to do that in person because at our trade show, like that was a hit. Our booth was so busy. We had so much fun doing that. Like I am so stoked, and I got tons of emails after that. Like, when's the next training? When's the next training? So I'm excited that we actually have that on the books. It's in person, like people requested. And yeah, I'm stoked for that. And could we put like a poll on your podcast?
Yeah.
Like, do we do swag bags or not? Like, because that's kind of where we're stuck. Do we want swag bags, people, or do we not want swag bags? Because we could get really into swag bags, people.
If you want us to go hard, we will.
You should have seen the swag bags we gifted each other at the trade show. I was like, here's a Brow Fox Beauty swag bag. And she was like, here's an Eyebrow Goddess swag bag. And they were just like both stocked and amazing.
Like, if you let us go crazy, we will.
Yeah.
It's one of my love languages. I love like putting little things like that together, especially.
Yeah, I feel like we should just do it.
I know. I'm like, the more I talk about it, the more I'm like, I want everyone to have silicone spatulas for their laminations.
Yeah.
I love it. So that'll be April 7th in Slow at Emily's Sweet Spots. I'm so excited to see it in person. My lamination manual will be included. I will be doing a little bit of threading there as well. We'll have live demos and everyone will have a model. Super duper excited. And then,
I'm going to try to get a couple models like per person. I know that will take but I'm going to try to get as many as we can.
I know. I feel like the more models equals more hair types and skin types. So it just means that more things can arise that we can talk about. I feel like I love in person for that because there's things that maybe don't readily come to the pop up to the front of your mind unless you're in it and doing it. I feel like it's a really nice way. It's like, oh my god, that's right. That's what I would recommend.
Yeah.
And then also the Face and Body show will be in September, and I will be there again. Any other events that you wanted to talk about, or anything else?
Just keep an eye out for that full and fluffy eyebrow growth serum that's about to launch, and keep an eye out for the launch of circle.so. That's the website, but there's some members on there. It's totally under construction, but if you wanted to sneak peek and get some access, I could get you on there. But yeah, just keep an eye out for that launch. But no, I'm really just focusing on the training and the launch of that and the trade show. So
yay! Yeah. Super duper excited. Thank you guys for listening. We appreciate, and thank you, Emily, for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
I will catch you guys next week. Have a great rest of your Thursday.